Now we're ready. Hello and good afternoon. My name is Kansas Middleton, and today I'm joined with a good friend of mine, Mike Hankerson. And today we're going to be chatting about hair and what it means to me, and also the significance to our Lakota people. I just want to thank the Rapid City area schools for reaching out and asking me to share my knowledge. And one of the best ways I wanted to share is to kind of have one of these conversations where the other guy on the other side of the screen is very different than me and has some very own questions of his own. So we generated questions that other people around might have. And, we wanted just the insight of all that. And I wanted to share more with you. And Mike's my man that helps me get set up and just really knows how to ask a good question. So we're going to start that for you guys today.
Well, thanks, brother. First of all, great to see you. And yeah, Kansas and I have been having conversations off and on about a lot of the things going on in the world these days. And he has certainly helped me learn an awful lot. So I appreciate it. And again, I'm not afraid to ask dumb questions. Makes me feel silly for asking them. So that's one of the good things. So Kansas, I'm just going to start. I got my hair cut yesterday for the first time since October, I guess it was. For me, hair has never been about anything but fashion because I'm a white guy. I wore it longer back in college, etc. It got pretty long, as you saw last summer when we were out to Lower Brule a couple of times, but it's just been about fashion. But that's not the case with natives, is it? What is the deal when it comes to natives?
So for us, Mike, we have a lot of significant value to our hair. Most of us, one of the bigger pieces is for myself personally, is it helps me identify as to who I am. Far too many times I've been in various cities, traveled across, our beautiful United States, and I was common when I had short hair. I was always commonly mistaken for a different ethnicity and so for me personally, it's something to identify with. I have the long braid and I wear it accordingly, and most people, right when they see me, they already identify me and they're like, oh hey, you're Native American. And so right then and there, that's just like a great feeling to be acknowledged in that manner, especially because most people think that Native Americans are extinct. On a deeper level of my hair, a lot of us wear hair for different reasons. Myself, I will wear my hair to honor my family, my relatives. I have 4 children now, and I actually used to wear my hair in 2 braids, and myself, that used to signify my 2 children, our memories, their strength, their health, my health, and just the love I had for them. It was always a reminder in my hard days when I was having difficulties. I would, kind of have my hair, and I would notice and I would remember that, I'm going hard for 2 young people that are dependent on their dad. And so that's part of that for me.
All right. But now I notice you just have the one braid. Is that true?
Yes. So I wear 1 braid now, mainly because I leave my house so early and I have to braid it myself nowadays. And it's just, a little easier and convenient. And plus, at the same time, with my 4 children now, I think it's just 1 braid signifies my whole family for us now, rather than 4 small braids slapping me around at various moments.
I understand. I listen, Kansas. It's so deep because one of the things, and I always try to put it in terms of religion, because that's essentially what so much of what you are living is your religion. But a lot of time, we as white Christians specifically don't understand that to that and to the spirit side of things, doesn't it?
Yes, so Best way I can, that's an awesome question. And best way I can kind of describe it for understanding for everybody is I hope everybody watched the movie Avatar. And if you watch the movie Avatar, you kind of see that the avatars on there, they have long hair, and in the end of their hair, they kind of have like a living organism in there. And this is where my avatar living organism would be. And within there, that connection actually has a connection to all things that they have a connection to. And for us, that's kind of like the same mentality we have. We believe, Lakota people believe that we're related to all things and we have a connection to all things. And so within that spiritual realm and that, that significance of our hair and everything around us, our hair is an extension of the nervous system, of our nervous system. And many people believe that, it helped us have insight. It helped us do a lot of different things. It gave us strength. It gave us power. It gave us mystery and unknown. And something to kind of touch on that was the United States military actually ran tests and conducted tests on Native American men. And when they would study Native American men, they'd take a handful of them. One handful would be Native American men with long hair, one handful would be Native American with short hair. Um, and when they would test them, they'd test that whole group prior to cutting their hair with their testing, scouting, tracking, all the different things that they test for. And I always call it like ninja skills, but they tested for all that. They cut half of the men's hair, and they retested everybody again with the same exact testing result or tools, same way to track it. And when they end up tracking it all, the native men that cut their hair went down in their scores drastically. And the men that still had their hair were still above the game in like warfare, sneaking, things like that. And so it's really cool. You guys can kind of Google that little article. It's there. It's out there. And so that's some kind of scientific significance matching our spiritual significance.
Wow, Kansas, I learned, and these are things that, I certainly never read about or learned about in my history lesson. That's one of the reasons, though, that you and I have been talking over the course of time that aren't taught in books when it comes to natives. It's real easy to just simply start at the supposed Thanksgiving story and then just move on to the Indian Wars and past. And there's so many more layers there, aren't there?
Yes, there's so many layers, and it's just not a native and non-native kind of understanding. The reason why I really love to have these videos and conversations is because, you know, um, because of how times changed and the history that my people went through. It was not common for native people to wear long hair, especially men anymore. And so, I guess the saying goes, it's a dime a dozen for men, native men with hair nowadays. And I'm proud to be one of the few. And with that being said, the reasons why you don't see too much Native Americans with long hair is one is kind of what you said at the beginning. It's a fashion statement. It's for fashion. And sometimes long hair is just not the fashion, especially, my braiding reason. I have one braid because it's easier to manage. I'm not a hair guru, so there's that component. But also, the thing that we deal with in America the most, especially our youth, is the bullying component. A lot of Native American boys get called girls. My two sons, my son, who's the oldest out of the two, he's 12 now, and he's almost as big as I am, but he can still be mistaken for a girl, or he can be at the restaurant bathroom at McDonald's, and somebody could come in and get shocked, and they think a little girl's in the bathroom because of long hair. And so we have those components. Myself, when I first started growing my hair, I had my own family members saying stuff to me about needing to cut my hair, or I looked homely or pitiful, or they would say I was unsh, and that's a Indian word for pitiful or not so good looking. And it was coming from my own people. And so you have a lot of people that get deterred away from wanting to grow their hair because of the history, the fashion, what to do with it, and then bullying and other components. So my advice to young people is, um, do what you want. A little side note before you ask another question, Mike, is, myself, I actually um always never had long hair. I grew up um, in a family that was, I guess you would say, more modern and less traditional. And my grandmother was a boarding school grandma. So I religiously cut my hair every 2 weeks. And that didn't sit right with me as a little kid, as a young boy. I always felt something inside me, something, my spirit, I guess, if you will. My spirit inside me would tell me I needed long hair. I needed long hair. And I always felt like disconnected because of that. And finally, I moved away to North Dakota with my mother. And she was like, kind of, yeah, you can be however you want to be. You can do whatever you want to do and dress and look whatever you feel. And she was kind of independent like that. So my biological mom was like, if you want long hair, go ahead and grow your hair. So I was like, yes, I'm gonna start growing my hair. I grew it, and unfortunately, um, things happened, and I had to move away from my mom, and I went back with my dad. And the moment I got back, he cut my hair that same night I got back, and I was said things like, "Oh, you look like a girl," or things like that from my own father. And so from that point on, my spirit was kind of
If it's any consolation.
with that.
Excuse me, I interrupted there. You
Oh
locked
no.
up for just a moment. You go ahead and finish up. Go ahead, brother.
And when my dad was saying stuff to me, it just kind of like suppressed my spirit again. But at the same time, my spirit kept saying, grow your hair. And I'm a fast forward like 10, maybe 15 years later, I was finally able to grow my own hair as long as I wanted and to do whatever I will with it. And I started growing my hair. And just a tidbit, I see my grandma because I love her. And I was visiting her. She said, "You need to cut your hair." So right then and there, I think it was like 22 or 23-year-old me. It was like, finally put my foot down. I was like, Grandma, like something inside me is telling me I need long hair and I have to grow it. And I told her I need my connection to being Native American. I have these songs and I have these spirits that are hungry and dying to eat, and it wants this. And so after a conversation with my grandma, I was finally able to have long hair, first one in our family to have long hair out of our men. And so I'm very proud of that. But just within breaking down that family structure, it wasn't easy. um, and I just want to encourage young boys and young men and just young people to be who you want to be, have the hair that you want. And I want to tell the other young boys that don't want to have long hair, that don't make you less native, it don't make you less Lakota. We all have our own calling and walks in life, and whatever you choose your walk to be, however you walk it, I want you to walk it proud. And I want you to walk it to encourage other people to walk theirs proud as well. Because we can be anything we want to be. I can be Lakota and look any way I want and be any way I want, and it don't make me any less.
All right. What I was going to say was if it's any consolation, use incredibly stupid things to shame and humiliate each other over too, including, I've known folks in my life that were bullied or called a girl because of the length of their hair, etc. Bottom line is